Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. I have my cat here as always. Oh, I thought she was gonna lay there so nicely and not make appearance, but she did. Um, so before I get started, let me just share this with my group real quick. All right, she might make a full appearance, but right now she's just gonna stay there for the time being. So, the hair, geez, goes everywhere. As my topic says, when you're afraid, do it anyways, right? I want to talk about this today because I personally have been going through what happens when you become fearful of things, when you become fearful of good things in life, and how that can sort of keep you in this type of place that you don't want to be in, that you naturally are always trying to get out of, right? So I wanted to talk about this today because I thought it would be a good time to do it because I'm currently dealing with it. And I know I'm not the only one who deals with this, and I thought a lot of people could relate to it. So if whenever you are popping on, even on the replay, just make sure to say hello so I know that you're watching. And for any of you guys, if you come across questions, you have questions while I'm going through it, you're resonating with it, just let me know. All right, so to give you a little bit of a history here, for like the past, I don't know, week-ish, I've been trying to do some things with my business to have it grow and progress, so to speak, in the way that I want to do it because I've been changing some things, and it was scary. It brought back moments of fear in me that was, this is just going to be distracting, I'm just going to let her do what she wants. Brought back moments of fear in me that, oh my, I'm so sorry. Nala, I can't. There we go. But the fear that was happening when I was trying to make these changes, and I was just getting so scared of what was going to happen that I was getting a little bit down with myself, right? Like, I'm not perfect. When I go and do, these talks with you guys, it's not that I live this amazing, perfect life where I don't have any fear come up, I don't have any struggles, I don't have any obstacles. None of that. But I do have the right necessary tools that I use to get me past these things so I don't revert back to using food for some of these things instead. So I was getting into a point where, I was getting a little down. And like, I have a business coach too, and I have mentorship that I use because I know I can't do this alone, and I need the support, and everyone needs that support and guidance. So I was getting to a point where I was just getting really sad and frustrated with myself because I wasn't getting to where I wanted to be. And, my coach made it apparent to me that I need to let go of some things, let go of these past beliefs that I've been having with myself that I was holding on to since like childhood, and allowing those feelings where, I was feeling not worthy enough, feeling not smart enough, feeling that I can't be successful, feeling that I just couldn't do it, and I didn't have the confidence to do it, and I was letting that run my life at the moment and run things, and then getting mad because things weren't happening how I wanted it to, mainly because I was still in that negative mindset where things were happening that way. So that positivity was gone, right? And I was wondering why things kept not happening for me. So when you're afraid to make these decisions, and you're afraid that you don't know what lies on the other end of things, I just want you to do it anyways, right? And this came up plenty of times when I was trying to make that change to get to the life I am now when it came to food. There were so many times when I was just upset, and I said that I was fed up with having food rule everything for me. And then I continued to still live in the world that I was living in where food kept ruling everything, right? And I was scared to make that change to better myself and get to the life that I wanted. And anytime I would be like hovering over that edge to make that change, I'd be like, nope, you can't do that. Nope, This is your comfort zone. You feel safer in here. You don't know what lies on the other end. What if it doesn't work out? What ifs, right? Everyone gets ruled by these what ifs. And how does that ever help you? It doesn't. It really doesn't. It just keeps you sort of unsatisfied in the life that you're living. And then you just seek out these things that are supposed to sort of let you know that you should stay in this path and not try to venture out into the world that you know you want to live in, and so forth. So this can come up in many different areas, and this did for like 15 years, where I hovered around things and I tried some things and I thought I did okay, and then I never really got down to the nitty-gritty of what was keeping me where I was. And I took time, it took a long time to be able to get to that point. And it was unnecessary time that I sort of stayed in this world, because I wasn't really asking for help as though I thought I was. So when you find that you're getting stuck in this world, right? Like, what would happen if you didn't make this change and you didn't make the leap, even though you're scared to get to the life that you want? Like, what would happen in your relationships, right? With the loved ones. Like, for me, when I was stuck in this world, my marriage was suffering. I was not present in it. Even if we were together doing anything, all I was doing was thinking about food. Literally, I was. And when I was getting into the over exercising phase of my journey, that's also what I was thinking about. So in not, spending time with him, because he would get home late, but I would be getting up, earlier to make sure I went to CrossFit. Like, we wouldn't spend much time together because I said I had to go to sleep to make sure that I was rested enough for my CrossFit, to make sure that when I was exercising, then I burned enough that I could be eating for the rest of the day. So we weren't really having a relationship in that sense. Or when we wanted to do anything in regards to cooking, because we used to really like to cook, we never would cook. And if we did, like, I would have to control everything. Like, it would be a horrible experience to cook together, because I couldn't handle recipes. I couldn't handle normal recipes that I wanted to make. Or I'd have to try to healthize things. And it always tasted like crap after, because it never was what I wanted to make. Or when we wanted to have a date night, or sometimes a date day, it would be usually a disaster, because I would be so consumed with the fear of food and always having to look at the menus ahead of time and make sure I could eat something, or just getting so stressed and anxious about it that it would be horrible. Like, I would take it out on him as well, because I'm already taking out on myself, right? But that still wasn't enough. I still had all this pent-up anxiety, and I would take it out on him. And how would that be if you chose to continue to live in this world where food controlled everything? Like, you would continue to lose sight of what mattered in that relationship and start to grow further and further apart. And that would be not at all what you intended, but that's sort of what happens with this. Or how about friendships? Let's talk about friendships and what it would look like if you continue down this path. Because for me, I lost all of my friendships. I really did, because I put food first. I didn't have friends. My only friend was food. It was my best friend. It was my confidant. It was what I would turn to for everything. And I lost the true friendships that actually mattered to me, because I put them on the back burner. I didn't even try to tend to them at all. And if they wanted to ask me to go hang out or go out to eat or do anything like that, I would always say no, because I was too anxious to be around situations where food was. Half the time it's because they always saw me as someone who always ate healthy, and they always were like, oh, I wish I could eat how you ate or you eat. And I was in my mind thinking, I wish I could eat how you eat, because I can't stand living in this anymore. But having those negative thoughts and that anxiety around this food and around what was happening, if I would go into those social settings, I stopped going. They stopped asking. And then I became even more isolated because of it. Or what happens if you chose to continue down this path and with your career, right? In a couple of years from now, what would that look like? When I was in my jobs, I was constantly thinking about food, thinking about what I would be eating next, thinking about if I could take a break to be able to maybe a quick snack, if anything, or how long is going to be my lunch break, because maybe I could get in like a fast-paced walk to burn calories off before I have to come back to work again, or constantly, not sitting down, always trying to be moving because you wanted to do and burn as much as you can. So when you are constantly having these thoughts and at work, how productive are you? Are you actually fully present in your job? Can you actually do the things that you are doing? Or are you constantly worrying about food, and then your productivity at work starts to suffer, people start to notice. And one of my jobs, my boss, hey mom, one of my bosses did notice, and she noticed that I was starting to lose weight, that I wasn't present in my job, that I was always like angry at the time, and other people noticed as well. So you can try and hide these things, but they will eventually come out. So if you are constantly worrying about these food and you're constantly scared of what lies on the other side, then you're going to have these areas get affected, right? Or how about that lovely relationship with food that you have now? So if you stay where you're at and you are unwilling to make the leap to the life that you want to live, how is that going to look like with the relationship with food? Are you continue to obsess about it? Are you going to continue to think about it at night when you go to sleep? Are you going to continue to think about it when you wake up? And then wonder what you're going to eat for breakfast, when your snack is, what your lunch is, when your another snack is, if any, what your dinner is going to look like, how long are you going to fast because you don't want to eat past 7 because heaven forbid those extra carbs that potentially you ate or that extra food that you ate is going to sit on there, and then you would have gained like 10 pounds the next day, right? Or how about that resentment you have towards any type of healthy food because in your mind you have to only eat healthy, and then you do, and then you hate eating healthy all the time because you're constantly thinking about all the other foods that you want to eat, and then you start to hate the healthy food, and then you start to restrict, or you go into the binging mode because you've restricted for so long on the other stuff and that you can't even control yourself around these other foods. Or you have the one cheat meal or one cheat day, so to speak, which, by the way, I hate that lingo. There is no cheat involved in this at all. But you have that one cheat meal and then you overeat, and then you feel so ill after because you're only allowing yourself to eat that one meal a week. That's your one time to do it. How would that look like if you continue down this path where you keep letting this food rule your world? Like, you would just get so worn down and beat and exhausted and frustrated with any of this. Like, I ended up having like no energy whatsoever. I couldn't do anything, even though I would try to work out. Like, I couldn't even last very long because I had no energy to do any of this stuff. And I was just pissed all the time, hangry. I don't know if you guys experienced what hanger feels like, but I had that all the time. And I would take it out on my husband, and he was getting affected by it, right? So does it look like if you continue down this path where you keep this obsession with food in your life? And most importantly, what happens if you are afraid to make this leap and change to the life you want if you continue down the path and you don't focus on you, right? Like, if you continue to hate yourself, if you continue to hate how you look, when you look in the mirror, you can't really smile back at yourself. You keep finding flaws that are not even there. What about when you can't go shopping? You used to like shopping, now you don't like shopping. Or how about when you have to try on like 25 different outfits and you still hate how you look, and then you choose to not even go out because you don't like how you look? Or you have kids and they start to pick up on your insecurities that you have about yourself, and they start to incorporate them on themselves. So what happens when you come and you can't come to terms with the beautiful person that you are, and you continue down this path where you just keep doing things to almost punish yourself for some reason, or these beliefs that you had since you were a kid about how you don't feel worthy enough, that you aren't beautiful, you can't be loved, you aren't deserving of anything, that you are going to be unsuccessful with anything. Like, what if you continue down that path where you have those feelings and you can't somehow let go? What does that look like, right? Like, all of this stuff happened. Like, all of this stuff happened for me for 15 years, and it was hell. It really was, and I don't wish this upon anyone. And it wasn't until I decided to make the leap and make that change and do it anyway, even though it scared the living shit out of me. It did. I can remember the time. And my husband, I love him to pieces. He was trying to be helpful. Granted, it was not, in hindsight, probably not the best idea, but he was wanting to lose weight. And at that time, he brought it to my attention because I also said my employer brought it to my attention that I was losing too much weight. Patients brought it to my attention as well. So his idea was we buy a scale and he'll lose weight while I gain weight, and we do this together. I couldn't handle it. Like, I got so much anxiety over the thought of me having to put on any weight. Like, that was what I used to keep myself sane, was to monitor my weight, making sure I never gained anything. And if anything, I wanted to lose. So for the thought of me having to gain weight in any of this was like, I can't do it. And we had arguments after this, and I couldn't do it. I cried so much over it. I literally was having panic attacks thinking about having to step on a scale and see that number going up. It was horrible. And it wasn't until I realized that I said to myself out loud, I'm like, Katie, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to yourself? And I realized I can make that change. And I sought out help. I couldn't do this alone. I tried, right? For how long? And that wasn't working. And the thing is, the story that I created since I was a kid, I changed it. I got to change that story, and I got to rewrite it in a way that I wanted, that I knew I deserved, right? Like, I didn't have to keep living in this hell anymore. Like, this stuff can get emotional for me because I understand it. It sucked. It really did. And I understand everything that you're going through. And when it gets scary, you can do it anyways. And I want you to. Because I don't want you to have to live in this world 1 second longer where you hold yourself back. You don't deserve it. And when you need help, and when you need that extra push, that's what I'm here for. Alright, like I said, I am not perfect by any means. And when I needed that help this last week to get me past this hump and get me into the place where I'm not scared anymore, like, I'm not worried about this. That's what I'm here for. Alright? And I want this so badly for you guys because I know exactly what it takes to get past it. And you can do it. If I was suffering with this for like 15 years and I got free from it, you can do it too. And that's the amazing part. You don't have to worry about it any longer. You don't have to feel as though you're stuck. You don't have to feel like you are out of control, that you don't have this ability to change it, because you do. That's the amazing part with all of this. In your body when you are scared, or in your body when you are excited, it is that same feeling that's going through it. Those same endorphins, it has the same response in there. So you just have to turn that fear into excitement and then take the leap and do it anyways. And I will be with you every step of that way. I really will. So if you're ready, if you are truly ready to make this change and get out from whatever world that you're in, to be able to get to the life where you don't have to obsess about food, you don't have to worry 1 second about what you're eating and what that's going to do to you, and you can go have friends and go out and have fun with them and not worrying about the food, where you can go and have that relationship you have with your loved one and really get deep down with them and know that it's going to last because you are not at all obsessing about food in that. Where you can be the person you want to be in the career that you want because you aren't constantly thinking about food. And you, the most important is the relationship with yourself. When you can love yourself for everything that you are, and you don't have to worry about trying to get into the perfect clothes or have the perfect body or make sure that you exercised enough for that day, and you can really just love you for you, that is what I'm here for. And when you're ready to make that change, and when you're ready to get to that point where you just say hell to this freaking world that you're in, this is what I'm here for. All right, I'm gonna put, oh hey Allie, thanks. I don't know if you caught my lovely crying episode before, but this stuff's emotional, and you are an amazing lady, Allie. I know that you help plenty of women too. I'm gonna put in the comments below the calendar so you can schedule a call with me and we can get you on this track. I know crying is the best. It is almost like a release, right? Like I was crying during it, and then like you take the and then you just let it out, right? You just let it out. But yes, I do want to put in the comments below the calendar so we can hop on a call, see where you're getting stuck, and then go from there. You don't have to be stuck here. We're going to be going, and you're going to have amazing things happening in your life because of it. So like I said, you can always message me, reach out to me that way. If you don't want to go through the calendar, you can find me many different places. So I think that's all, folks. Mainly, I don't give a shit if you're scared for things. I want you to do it anyways, because I was scared for 15 years and I finally made that leap into a life that I love now and I'm proud of, and I'm doing things I never thought I was going to be doing before, and using sort of my struggles in life to help other women get through theirs. This is what I do. And this is an amazing thing for anyone. And I'm so lucky to be able to be a part of these women's lives and help them through it. All right, so click on the link below if you want to talk with me and we can see where you're getting stuck and get you past this, or message me. And as always, Nala was on my lap the entire time. Say hi, Nala. So, happy Tuesday, everyone. And I hope to talk to you soon.